Hello, beholders. I am making Penne Ala Vodka. I have a party to attend tomorrow, and I said I would bring a huge portion of this. So this is something that I learned to make many moons ago in a restaurant I worked in called the Roadhouse, way classier than the movie, okay? I am going to just show you guys a quick overview of ingredients. I just lowered the butter, and this is very high quality olive oil. That's what we did in our giveaway from Italy. Single source, really good stuff. That's in there with a ton of Kerrygold butter. So our first add-in, I'm going to move the pasta over to the side, take the parsley off, is going to be, okay, so when you prep your ingredients beforehand, it's called mise en place. So you are getting everything ahead of time ready, and this is a medium onion diced, and I do rustic. So we're going to put the onion in and the 10 cloves of garlic first. So I'm going to do that as best I can with one hand. Well, guess what? I think ham's going in too. It usually goes in a few seconds later, but it's not a big deal. So we're just going to put that in there. Put the rest of that in there. It's really hard to cook with one hand, but I'm finding that I cannot use the little camera stand that I bought and move around as well, because it just keeps the camera in one spot, and I cannot acclimate to add everything in and get to everything. And when I do move you guys around, it's not very helpful. So I'm looking to buy myself a GoPro, and hopefully I'll be able to do that. Since I don't celebrate holidays or anything like that, it's not like anybody's going to buy me one. So it's all good. I'll get one eventually. So right now we have in here one medium-eyed onion diced, and that's rustic. I don't do anything like super fine. I like it to have a little bit of texture. The garlic is diced pretty fine, but not super fine, and that's 10 cloves of garlic, so almost a whole head. And then the ham that I use, that I diced and then I minced. There may be a couple cubes that are a little bit bigger, but they're primarily minced. They're, like I said, maybe a couple bigger pieces. So we have about, I would say, 1/4 cup of oil in there, and about 1/4 cup of Kerrygold butter. And I'm going to turn this up a little bit. And this needs to saute down until the onions are translucent and the garlic starts to let loose some of that garlic flavor and aroma, and you'll start to smell that. So I would say a good 3 to 4 minutes, because this is also going to cook in the sauce. This does have some other ingredients, which I'm going to pull away and show you in a moment. I'm going to add in the only spices that I add into this right now. So in this little cup, I have a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, because this is a large quantity of the vodka sauce that I'm making. 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a teaspoon of onion powder. So that's going in right now. And I'm just going to mix that in there. So because this is such a big amount that I'm making, I do have over here to the side, which I'm going to show you in a second. I do have a 1/2 cup of chopped parsley there. I do have, this is going to look crazy over here, but I'm going to get over here and show you guys. So I have a lighter with 2 long toothpicks. And the reason being is when you add in your vodka after this next step, which is right here, we have almost 3/4 cup of vodka. You instantaneously have to light this on fire, or the alcohol will not burn off and dissipate, and it'll just taste like vodka, which you do not want. By the way, that's the wine that I'm drinking in the back. Don't mind my light switch. I'm trying to paint it and get a different one. So you do need an ample amount of Parmesan cheese to thicken this. This is your only thickening agent besides your heavy cream. So you do need a good, if you're making a small amount, you can go with a pint, but I needed, you know, a whole quart because I'm making a lot. I normally use my own homemade marinara, but I am using one of my favorite marinaras. This is a really good one. I know that I have a prior video. If you go back and you look at prior videos, this passes both Bobby approved and the Yuca app. This is a very good imported from Italy sauce. It has very few ingredients. I think there's like, you know, right there you guys can see. Very few ingredients. It's really good. And what you want is a basic marinara. And this just basically gives it a little tomato flavor and gives it that pink color. So while you're making the vodka sauce, as I said, I learned this in one of the many restaurants that I worked in. And this was from the Roadhouse, and this was the year that I had my daughter, Cara Ann. So 1994, that's how long I've been making this sauce, and was able to increase it so that I could make more than one serving at a time, because that's how they were making it, one serving at a time. So right now we have our onions are tender, our garlic is getting there. So what we're going to do now is the hardest part, guys. So I am going to light the toothpicks. I'm going to show you guys this. And this is so you don't get burned. Light your toothpicks. Okay. Drop your vodka. You hear that? Oh, my toothpicks went out. You don't want that to happen. Okay. And then you light the vodka. There you go. See, guys? So we want that to burn off. So I'm also going to turn on my outer fan. And the reason why you want to light it immediately is if you don't, it just ends up laying in the pan and it saturates into anything that's laying in there, and you will not burn off the alcohol, and it'll have a heavy vodka flavor. So you want to get that lit right away. And it's an ample amount. I mean, you guys can see there's some good flames in there. But as you keep stirring and you let the air in, that's why I also opened up the outer fan. You need this all to burn off before you can move on to the next ingredients. So you just let it burn off a little bit. And this is what gives you that amazing vodka flavor. And a lot of people make their vodka sauce different ways. This is the way that I was taught, and I just think this is the most flavorful way. And the ham that I used is a Celine ham. You can get that at any deli. You can use pancetta. You can use whatever ham you like. I like the Celine's ham because it's not very salty and it's very dry. It doesn't add like extra moisture. The only moisture that I want in here is from the butter, the oil, and the cream, and a little bit, of course, from the marinara. So we're almost burned off, but you just keep stirring it until everything burns off, and we're just about there. You see the flame is dissipating more and more. So as soon as you see your flame is out, then you know all your alcohol is burned off, and that's when you add your heavy cream. So you could turn it down a bit. You wanted it a little higher because you wanted that to burn off. And now we're going to add in the quart of heavy cream. And this makes a lot. I'm going to show you what I'm boiling to put into this. So what I'm going to do is, because this is for a party that I'm attending tomorrow, I'm making the sauce tonight. And I'll let it cool down, and then I will put it in a container. It can easily be reheated at a very low temperature. I did buy a little container of light cream to add to it as it reheats. If you take care with it, it does reheat nicely and it will not separate. So what you do here is just get this all together, and then you bring it back up again. A little bit higher. So this is what I'm going to be making. I'm going to do 2 pounds of the organic penne pasta, and I'm going to cook that till al dente, and then when I get to the party tomorrow, I'll boil some water and just gently heat this through, reheat the sauce, and then we'll just pour it over the pasta. So it'll be perfect. I'll bring some extra cheese. I'm making garlic bread with cheese. I'm making pearl mozzarella with little tomatoes, basil, and some balsamic glaze. And then I'm also baking a plum, pear, and apple tart. So I have a lot going on. It's already 4:30 and I didn't even finish this yet. I had a great day. Went out with my 2 daughters, my son-in-law, and my 2 granddaughters. So just getting to this today. That's why I have my nice little glass of wine out over there. Gonna take my time, get this made. So once this comes up to temperature, because it's smart if you do this ahead of time and bring out your heavy cream ahead of time, which I did not do because, like I said, I was out. If you bring that to room temperature, this will go a little bit quicker, which I did not do. So you want to get that. I'm going to turn it up a little more. You don't want to scald the bottom of the pan, and milk. Any milk product, any dairy product will scald and it will stick to the bottom of the pan, even though you have a lot of oil and butter in here. So you kind of want to take it easy. So I'll just turn it up a little bit for a minute just so it starts to warm. And then once you see a little bit of steam coming through, then you can move on to the next step, which is your cheese. And that's going to give you your thickening. So I can turn that back down, and I'm going to start with the regular grated Parmesan. Normally I grate my own, but because I was making such a big batch and I did have other kitty stuff, I got 2 little boy kitties behind me fighting. So I had a lot of things going on. I didn't have time to grate my own today, so I had to buy 2 kinds. All right, so this is actually guys, come on. We're having a kitty emergency behind us, guys. So this is 6 ounces of grated Parmesan. And if you have little lumps in there, don't worry about it. You just press them out with a spoon. It's all good. It all will incorporate. And as the temperature comes through, the sauce in the bottle that I did buy, I didn't make. Hey guys, stop fighting. I did leave that at room temperature. So that's a brand new room temperature bottle, so that won't mess us up at all. And then I've got this, I did open these already. And then I have this Parm, which is like more of a grated. And this just has a nuttier flavor. So I am gonna add some of that also. And this is, again, this is 5 ounces. So I'm gonna add about half of this. This is a lot of cheese. This, guys, is a really rich dish. And that's why making this for a party, if you know, this is like a quadruple recipe. And we are having 12 to 15 people. And I'm doing the 2 pounds of pasta. This is going in a huge, like, not as big as a roasting dish and not as small as a cake pan, like one of the throwaway aluminum pans. This will be plenty. This is really rich and really filling. So you get your cheese in there, and I think you guys can see that it's already starting to thicken up. It's really, really flavor explosive. You have, you know, tons of garlic, you have the onions, you have the little bit of seasoning that we added, you have the ham. You can do it without ham. I have made it without ham. You know, a lot of vegetarians don't eat dairy, but, well, that's kind of vegan. But I have made it with peas, I've made it without, but I'm making it with ham because we're doing an Italian luncheon, so this is kind of like it usually is made with pancetta. So it's starting to thicken up. I can feel it already with a spoon. So now this is when you add in your sauce. So now you take the marinara, which I've already opened. And I love this one because it's got like little cherry tomatoes and everything in it. It's really awesome. So I just dumped half the jar in. And what you do is you just start mixing it through. And you're just looking for, yes, of course, it's going to lend another flavor to it. And the reason why you choose a marinara is you don't want to add, you could use a 4 cheese sauce if you have that in your pantry, I would suggest the one with the least amount of ingredients. You want to go like, I would say 8 ingredients or less. You want to go for the highest end sauce that you could find. Lean towards a marinara or a 4-cheese or a tomato and basil. But you're basically just going for this, that pink color. I know there are people that make their vodka sauce with a flour roux base. No, me not so much. I'm not into that. I don't see. Now this has a couple, like, I love this sauce. It has these cherry tomatoes in it. But see, I'm going to burst these in here. I'm not going to leave those whole. They're fantastic on pasta, but in this dish, it's not going to work. But that's what I had in my pantry. So as I come across those, I'm just going to break them up a little bit. And it, like I said, the sauce is going to get reheated again tomorrow too. So if we find any more, we could always do that. If you and your family like a little bit spicier, have I put pepper flakes in mine? Of course, I love spicy. But we're not going to put pepper flakes in this because we have mixed company. Like I said, 12, 15, possibly 18 people tomorrow. We have tons of other food. I'm making the 3 or 4 things, and then we have other people making, like, you know, there's like 10 other things that are coming. But if you guys notice, it's starting to thicken up. And then you can, if your sauce, there's another tomato. If your sauce doesn't get thick enough, you can always add more cheese. That's your thickening agent. But this is my vodka sauce. I am going to add a little bit more marinara just so it's got a little bit more color to it. I'm going to stir that in. And then I'm going to put my last ingredient in, which is that fresh chopped parsley. And I don't have to taste it because I've been making this, like I said, since 1994. So I think everybody can figure out how many years that's been. My daughter is 31. Okay, so I think I've been making it long enough to know how it's going to taste. And I think that's the perfect color. That's, you know, perfect. I'm going to bring the little bit of sauce that's left in the jar. And I'm going to bring the extra cheese so that when we reheat it, if it separates a little tiny bit, I'll have the extra light cream with me. I'll have the, I'll chop up some more parsley, and I'll have the extra cheese with me and the extra sauce. But that's it, guys. So that is my vodka sauce. And I'll take a picture tomorrow at the party with all the food on the table so you can see it completed. And if you guys would like the recipe individually, just leave me a comment and I will happily send you the recipe. It's very simple. It's very delicious, but it is very, very filling and very rich. So you don't need a lot. As I said, this sauce on the 2 pounds of pasta in a huge tray is going, well, not huge. It's not a roaster tray. It's like the medium-sized tray. This will easily be enough for 12 to 15 people with all the other foods we're having. So, beholders, thank you for tuning in. And I wanted to mention that Jeb Bishop and his family, the Bishop Bunch, won our 100 subscriber giveaway because unfortunately, Mr. or Mrs. Gonzalez did not come forward and give me an email or an address to send their prize to. So they're back on the wheel for the next spin, and the next spin will be at 150 subscribers. And just you guys wait and see what I give away for that. So guys, get out there, behold what is beautiful to you. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for giving me your time. And everybody be well, take care, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.